So you know how when you read like certain Bible passages, like you get like the Leviticus 18, the passages that like the sexual acronym community will call the clobber passages, right? But you get these verses in the Bible that describe things that you think there's no way people do that, right? No way people do that. Or you hear little things here and there about like people into stuff that you just think there's no way people are really actually doing this. Like this is not real. My first understanding of this came from like Leviticus, where it talks about like the category of bestiality, right? Do not have sex with animals. I think human beings can be really wild and do crazy stuff. But when I read those passages that talk about that, I always thought, man, those people back then were just crazy folks. But that's not really something that people are really trying to do. And you might hear something about this here or there, that someone's doing that. But as a general whole, it's a rare occasion that you hear about human beings actually wanting to have sex with animals. Now, in the last few years, we've seen trans species where people are identifying as dogs, cats, or some other type of thing, right? All that stuff is wild. But today, in this day and age, in this actual moment, this idea of what we would call bestiality or having sex with animals is legitimate and now legal. I received an article this morning from someone who knows, like, I just pay attention to wild stuff. And when I first got this article, which I'm about to read you some excerpts of, I thought this has to be a spoof. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is a spoof. Like, I know that we're capable of crazy things, but I was like, this is a spoof. And so as I read the article and then went online to see if other people were promoting the story, I realized that the article itself is not actually a spoof. It's a spoof on humanity is what it is. So let me read this excerpt of this to you. This is dated February 19th, 2023. All right. Here's what it says. Here's the headline of the article from a publication called thepostmillennial.com. Here's the headline of this article. Spain decriminalizes sex acts with animals as long as no physical injury occurs. And then underneath it, it says, bestiality will no longer be considered a criminal offense if there are no injuries to the animal. All right. That's just the start of this article. This is not Babylon Bee or anything like that. Now, if this article is fake, then there are other people carrying it as if it's true. Here's what it says. On Thursday, the Spanish Parliament approved a new animal welfare law that decriminalizes bestiality so long as the creature does not receive an injury that requires veterinary treatment. All right. According to Mundo Toro, bestiality will no longer be considered a criminal offense if there are no injuries to the animal. This is established by the new penal code through the animal welfare law provided by Minister Lone Bellara that was approved in Congress on February 9th. Bestiality was previously illegal with Article 337.1 of the Penal Code stating he will be punished with 3 months and 1 day to 1 year in prison and special disqualification from 1 year and 1 day to 3 years for the exercise of a profession, trade, or a trade that is related to animals and the possession of animals. So here they're given the law, and now they're saying that this new law reforms the penal code and deletes Article 337, removing the sexual exploitations of animals from the code. All right. Wow. So let's back up for a second and process what I just read. So here's what it said. On Thursday, the Spanish Parliament approved a new animal welfare law that decriminalizes bestiality so long as the creature does not receive an injury that requires veterinary treatment. Let's unpack just that. So on Thursday, not an individual who's high, out of their mind, on shrooms or whatever, a parliament. So a group of people in a governing body in Spain decriminalized having sex with animals so long as the creature, the animal, is not injured. So a group of people who actually are considering themselves reforming a law that you can now have sex with animals so long as the animal. So one, this is a group of people who decided that this was best for their particular society. Now you may be thinking, well, that's Spain, this is America. No, my friend, things travel. And this type of debauchery is everywhere. There are people everywhere who approve of everything that's evil that we would consider crazy evil, right? So it's in Spain, but it wouldn't be surprised if it makes its way to the good old US of A. So here are parliament people who actually decided you can have sex with them. So that's in and of itself crazy. But then it's okay to do it if the animal doesn't receive an injury that requires veterinary treatment. So this is just a genuine question. I'm not even trying to be funny or anything. This is a genuine question. Who will determine if the animal's injured? Are these people going to have a special group that watches, that finds out if you have sex with an animal? Like if you are, I'm sorry, deranged enough to have sex with an animal, and are you going to report it if you hurt the animal? Like, how are they going to know, one, that animals get hurt? Who's going to report that? No one's going to go to the animal law police center and report this situation. It's just not going to happen, right? That's number one. But then, like, wouldn't you be worried about you getting hurt? Like, if you're a human being, like, who's going to look at a grizzly bear and be like, wow, I'm trying to see what's popping? Like, what you would get hurt. You're going to get hurt if you do that. Like, it's just the wildest thing. So when we think about this on a surface level, this is just, it's just beyond sanity, right? At this point, like we're ushering. It's one thing to say I identify as a species. It's not human. I'm transhuman. But it's another thing to actually legalize this, right? To legalize this. So, I think is happening on a deeper level. So on a natural level, this is just a level of wickedness and debauchery that just showcases why Jesus had to come. Like why Jesus had to come and give up his life for the forgiveness of sins because of the insanity and the connection to the most evilest things human beings can come up with is to actually decriminalize sex with animals, right? But if you really think about this on another level, and this isn't the same thing, but this is like almost like the new Nephilim, right? Like in Genesis 6, you have these angelic divine beings that are able to take on human form, which is not uncommon. We see that in different parts of the Bible all the time, where angels look like human beings. And they come and have sex with women, and then there is this sort of master race of people, these Herculean type, half like demigods, sort of half divine angel, half being, half human being, right? It creates like this Nephilim. This is like almost like a very sadistic way for the enemy to sort of craft a hybrid of, assuming like I don't know if a woman could get pregnant from the sperm of an animal, but it is ridiculous to even have this as a functioning category. Like, if you are a believer, like, we shouldn't be shocked. We should be like appalled on some level, but this is the world that we live in. Like, I can't imagine living in Spain and just being an average, just typical human being living in Spain and finding out that your government just approved of people being able to have sex with animals as long as the animal is not injured and needs veterinary. What? Like, to what? I mean, and as far as I know, I don't know if they put stipulations on animals, but it is the most vilest thing I think I've heard in a while, in a long time. And so I'm not surprised in and of itself, like, this is not new. I mean, the Bible condemns this action going back to the Mosaic, the Pentateuch, going back to the law of Moses, right? So it's not, but just to really see this play out in real time and see like an actual government of supposedly intelligent people sitting around the parliament. I don't know the Spanish parliament, how big it is, but it has to be, it's about modern society, right? This has to be a good group of people, fam. This is people who have like children and probably like just intelligent folks and hired, given the responsibility to govern the Spanish society, and they determine to decriminalize, not decriminalize like we wouldn't even decriminalize heroin right now. Like, it would be unheard. I don't even think Spain has decriminalized like hardcore drugs. Like that, they haven't even decriminalized like crack. But you decriminalized bestiality? And it's things like this that just make me grateful that I'm a believer, and where you want Maranatha, you want Jesus to come back. And with this, this also reminds me of, lastly, this reminds me of? It reminds me of the great patience of God. The great patience of God. Like, he sees all this wickedness, right? Stuff that we do in my own heart. He sees my wickedness. He sees all of this wickedness, right? And he just patiently waits. There might be people who have sex with animals now that may end up coming to Jesus after some consequences or something happens. I mean, I think it's just incredible. It's crazy. And I just think that who's going to track this? Like, who's going to watch? Like, there's going to be a whole, like, sort of prison system for people who commit sexual criminal acts against animals. And it's only determined by they have to go get surgery or something because you hurt the animal. I would be like, man, I'm worried about getting hurt, but this is another episode of As the World Burns. I wish I were making this up. And if I'm wrong and this is a spoof, I apologize for wasting your time. I looked and I saw a couple other articles posting the same story. And so I don't know if this is a spoof or not. But if this is like not even funny. This isn't even something that's funny. It's just like absurd. But what do I know? I don't even have deep perspective on this. I just think this is Ecclesiastes. This is nothing new under the sun. This is 1 Corinthians 10:12. No temptation has seized you except what is common to man. But I tell you what, I think this is one of the worst things. And if I were in Spain, I would try to impeach every person who holds public office that voted for this bill to be passed. I repeat. On Thursday, the Spanish Parliament approved a new animal welfare law that decriminalizes bestiality so long as the creature does not receive an injury, this is in quotations, an injury that requires veterinary treatment. Whoever does it, they require a prison cell for the mentally deranged, and all the people who voted for this, I think, should be arrested. I'm dead serious. These people should not hold public office. I cannot. This is insane. So, man, if I could sing, I'd sing a couple of hymns right now. I'd even sing Michael rowed a boat ashore right now. I just need some of that smoke right now. This is crazy. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we need to be talking to people about Jesus and stop arguing with them about who they voted for. It's incredible. I tell you what. Peter, if you're watching, y'all need to set up shop in Spain, fam. Peter, if you are watching, if you get wind of this story, stop throwing fake blood on celebrities that wear fur. Get on over to Spain. Y'all obviously aren't doing y'all work over there because this is ridiculous. But what do I know? Kirk Kennedy, signing off.